She drinks. The year is 922. Cold wind carries smoke over the Volga River. For 10 days, she has been plied with drink and passed from tent to tent. This is part of what we must call the most insane sexual practices of the Vikings. Ritual sacrifice. She is led to the dragon ship, where the dead chieftain lies in silk. The Arab traveler, Ibn Fadlan, watches. His hand grips a stylus. He records what his civilization finds unthinkable. A thrall girl volunteered to die. Her body was used by her master's warriors in a ritual meant to bind her to him in the afterlife. She is offered the horn again. Our motif: dark, spiced beer. She laughs, but her eyes glaze over. An old priestess, the angel of death, waits by the mast with a rope and a knife. To Ibn Fadlan, this is horror. To them, it is a sacred union, sealed by sex and blood. What makes a person walk to their death with a smile? And what truth about this world did Ibn Fadlan fail to write down? She chose this path, but the horn emptied too quickly. We are venturing into a darkness others are afraid to see. Subscribe to walk this path with us. Hit the bell. Let it be your signal when we unseal the next forbidden chapter. And now, back to the story. The great ship is dragged onto the shore, a dead beast awaiting the fire. She is taken to a special tent. This is her new prison, a cell made of wool and smoke. She is no longer a thrall, a simple slave. She has been marked. She is now the Filgja, the follower, the one who must accompany the dead. Ibn Fadlan, the outsider, watches from a distance. He notes that she is guarded. Always. 2 other women, attendants or jailers, never leave her side. They wash her, braid her hair, and dress her in silks she has never touched before. The rough wool of her slave garb is burned. This is her renaming, her remaking into a ritual object. Her quiet will to resist is not a shout or a fight. It is a moment of silence. The attendants urge her to sing, to be joyful. For a moment, she just stares at her own hands, at the foreign silver rings they have placed on her fingers. A flicker of terror in her eyes, quickly extinguished. The mercy offered to her is this elevation. She, who was property, will be honored. She will enter the next world as a noble's companion. The horn, our motif, is the tool of this mercy. It is always full, always pressed to her lips. The dark, spiced beer is thick with herbs. It is a mercy that dulls the senses, a kindness that erases the self. How do you separate honor from oblivion? The angel of death visits the tent. The old woman inspects her, not as a person, but as a sacrifice. She checks the girl's teeth, her hands, the weave of the silk. She is ensuring the offering is perfect. The girl is a vessel for the community's belief. The price for this brief, terrible honor is her body, then her mind, then her life. She is paraded from tent to tent, presented to the chieftain's men. Ibn Fadlan writes that they have sex with her, one by one. Each man says, "Tell your master I have done this only for love of him." Her body is no longer a tool for labor. It is a conduit for magic, a message sent to the dead. The 10 days are ending. The singing outside grows louder. The horn is almost empty. The condition is the sky. The sun climbs. It is time. The final trial is not a choice. It is a procession. The girl is led from the tent. Ibn Fadlan, the witness, cannot comprehend the logic. He asks a nearby Viking, through his translator, why they commit this horror. "You burn him. In an instant he is ash. We Arabs lay our dead in the earth, where they are consumed slowly." The Viking's answer is the cold refusal. He scoffs. You Arabs are fools. Because we love him and honor him, we send him to paradise in this very instant. He arrives with his wealth, his men, and this companion. There is no debate. This is the absolute law of their cosmos. The why is now resolved. This was not chaos. This was not depravity for its own sake. It was a brutal, pragmatic transfer of assets. The most insane sexual practices of the Vikings were, to them, a form of practical magic. The girl's body, used by the warriors, was a ritual act of severing their ties to her. They were collectively transferring her ownership back to the dead master, ensuring she served him and no one else. The price was simple: one thrall life, the lowest currency in their world, to guarantee the safe passage and eternal comfort of a chieftain, the highest. It was a transaction, written in flesh instead of silver. The escalation shifts. The soft pressure of the 10-day feast is over. Now, deprivation. The girl is brought into the sharp sunlight. She stumbles. The world is too bright, the drumming too loud. She is isolated in a sea of chanting people. The horn, our motif, is offered one last time. She drinks, deeply. This is the final silence, the moment the mind is extinguished before the body. The system inverts its own meaning. The things that were meant to destroy her, the drugs, the exhaustion, the terror, are her armor. She is no longer a slave. She is, for these last moments, a holy object. The crowd bows as she passes. The herbs in the beer have done their work. She is shielded by oblivion, protected from the reality of the knife. She is helped onto the ship. The angel of death is waiting, her face like carved wood. The girl is placed on the funeral couch beside her dead master. The ritual is now a machine, cold and efficient. Two men hold her arms. The old woman slips a corded rope around her neck. She is given the final horn, but she cannot hold it. She sings, or perhaps just wails, as the men pull the rope. The angel of death steps forward, the knife reflecting the cold, gray sky. She had to be broken to be made divine. The ritual demanded a body, but the gods demanded a soul. The ship is a column of black smoke. The fire consumes wood, silk, flesh, and bone. The heat is intense, a roar that drowns the chanting. Ibn Fadlan turns away, his face pale. He has seen enough. Centuries pass. The riverbank is quiet. The ship is ash. The bones are dust. The memory is gone. But the record survives. We are in an archive, in the cold, dry air of a library, where the traveler's manuscript was copied, preserved in fragments. This is the hidden place. The ink is faded, the parchment brittle, but the words are clear. This is our cautious evidence. We must look closer at the motif, the horn. Fadlan, the Muslim outsider, describes it as nabid, a strong drink. He did not know what he was seeing. Here is the hidden truth. The insanity was not just the brutality, it was the method. Archaeological excavations of Viking ritual sites, like the Oseberg ship burial, have unearthed evidence of cannabis. Other finds in ritual graves suggest the use of henbane, a powerful and terrifying deliriant, or poppy seeds. The spiced beer in that horn was not just alcohol. It was a potent pharmacological cocktail, a tool of absolute chemical control. The girl's volunteering was the first step. Her 10 days of joy were a guided descent into a drugged haze. Her songs before her death, which Fadlan recorded, were not hymns of ecstatic belief. They were the product of a mind unmoored by hallucinogens, her will chemically erased. How do you prove an ancient state of mind? You look at the tools. In a modern museum, a specialist brushes dirt from a small carved box of yew wood. found in a female grave. Inside, a cluster of henbane seeds, a wordless rite of memory. The archaeologist's gloved hand, the cold light of the lab. They are not just cataloging an object, they are bearing witness to the mechanism of a ritual murder. This is what was hidden. The girl was not a willing participant. She was a victim, groomed for the slaughter. The ritual, for all its smoke and gods, was a pragmatic process. The victim had to appear willing, to appear joyful, for the magic to be considered accepted, and for the social contract to be fulfilled. They couldn't just kill her. They had to make her seem to want it. The angel of death was not just a priestess. She was an executioner, and she was an apothecary. The fire burned the body, but the ink preserved the crime. The smoke from that pyre on the Volga clears. A new smoke rises centuries later. It is the smoke from burning rune staves, the pagan records cast into fires by black-robed priests. The great sagas, when finally written on vellum, are scrubbed clean. The angel of death is erased. She becomes a troll in a fairy tale, a demon in a sermon. The names of the slave girls who died on those ships, they were never recorded. They are not blank entries in a ledger. They are the air between the words. The ink was withheld. The only witness is the distant one. Ibn Fadlan's report survives by accident, a whisper in Arabic preserved by scribes who had never seen a fjord. Without his cold, factual horror, this entire practice would be lost to myth. The Norse records are silent. They erased their own insanity to build a new Christian history. We are left only with the echo. She drinks. The line from the beginning returns. We see the horn again. It is not a symbol of honor. It is a weapon of control. The most insane practice was not the sex, nor the murder. It was the cold, pharmaceutical precision used to make a victim smile for her own execution. It was the complete, meticulous erasure of a human will, all to satisfy the dead. Subscribe, hit the bell, and like. History is not the story of what happened, but of what was allowed to be remembered.